And sometimes we have this image of cogs in our heads, and it's getting the kind of empirical decision making process. But emotion must play a huge part in decision making as well, and probably even operate at a kind of a subconscious level. How can people become aware of the emotional influences on their decisions, and how can they become more effective decision makers by balancing emotional and rational considerations?
It's a huge field. Emotion, and again, there are 27 different emotions, and the experts will say that you need to one recognize, and we all know an emotional situation. So Will Smith at the Oscars, punching Chris Rock was an emotional overreaction that millions of people viewed. That was on the spot, immediately triggered. So that is an impulse. But there are other emotions that are slower burn, if you like. And I might point to envy, for example, professional envy. Now, we all feel envy at some point, and it's not nice and we don't like it. So, but that can become insidious. That can become a source of sabotage in an organization, let alone being a source of frustration and anxiety and depression in some cases. So you really do need to not just look at the ones I'm happy or, I'm angry. They're the easier ones. But I think looking beyond, looking at the scope and the spectrum of emotions gives you a power over yourself, an ability to try and at least recognize and call it out. So if you can, they say that if you can label the emotion, it is the starting point. Now, telling people to calm down usually just drives them the other way. No one likes to be told to calm down when they're in a state. But when you're making a really important decision, so like that status quo example we spoke about earlier, I mean, that is just fear of change, isn't it? That is preference for comfort rather than the curiosity you spoke about or risk taking. So that is an emotion. If you can break down your emotion, even if you ask yourself for every high consequence decision, what are the two or three emotions that are at play here? And if you do that, I think it's a huge step forward. Break it down into whatever that emotion is. So will I